Marvel's Merry Mutants have long been a fixture in the canon of the 616, but like any story that's been around for that long, some characters can get a bit stale, or worse, prevent the X-Men from moving forward. With that in mind, I'm Will for What Culture, and here are 10 X-Men characters the writers need to stop using. 10. Wolverine. Believe it, bub. The X-Men's most iconic mutant has been in more than his share of comic scraps over the years, but it might surprise you to know that, besides Spider-Man, Wolverine has appeared in more issues of Marvel Comics than any other character in their superhero universe. This is all the more impressive seeing as Wolverine didn't debut until 1974. Wolverine is a compelling character most of the time, but Marvel's insistence on riding their cash cow into the ground has cheapened his value as a character. If Marvel keeps pushing him everywhere, he will go from a beloved yet oversaturated icon to an annoying, one-dimensional whipping boy. 9. Firestar. Best known for her time on the 1980s cartoons Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, Angelica Jones has been portrayed in the comics as a mutant. Originally a part of Emma Frost's rival Hellions at the Massachusetts Academy, Firestar took an extended absence from mutantdom before growing to become a professor with the X-Men at the Jean Grey School for Higher Learning. Since her reintroduction to X-relevancy, Firestar has made a handful of appearances without really doing much of anything. When she is in a book, it often feels like the writers don't know what to do with her character, often falling a bit flat as a result. Take 2014's Amazing X-Men for example, and you have to wonder, if the writers don't actually use her character in the stories she's in, why include her in the story at all? 8. Captain Britain / Psylocke, Betsy Braddock. Though Betsy Braddock now goes by Captain Britain, she is best known by her other codename Psylocke. Betsy was born as the younger twin sister to Brian Braddock, the original Captain Britain. Once she joined the X-Men, Psylocke underwent a, let's say, extreme transformation, while her white British aristocrat persona was put into the body of Quanon, an Asian woman who was promptly dismissed from her body. In recent years, appropriation has become less of a cool fashion trend and more understood as the horrible extension of racism that it is. Betsy Braddock is now thankfully back in her own body, but her legacy remains undeniably tainted and more than a little bit uncomfortable, and is in desperate need of a shakeup, or perhaps better yet, just to be retconned out of existence and left in the trash where it belongs. 7. Namor. The editorial department has tried to make Namor work many a time. Even calling him an X-Men character is a bit strange because of the wide dispersal of his appearances. But the Atlantean is a mutant, and he joined the X-Men during their stint on the island nation of Utopia. During the Avengers vs. X-Men storyline, he even managed to acquire 1/5 of the Phoenix Force by teaming up with Cyclops and his team. The problem is Namor's blunt narcissism and hatred for those inferior to him. And, in his opinion, that is quite literally everyone. These traits make it virtually impossible to keep him on a team for long periods of time, and the eventual discord he causes becomes predictable and honestly boring. Keep him messing around with the Richards family in Fantastic Four, and away from our beloved mutants. 6. Magma. Despite her near 40-year existence, Magma has rarely been at the forefront of X-fans' thoughts. A big part of this is the fact that she has never really been shown to have a deep connection with her teammates. In fact, the mutant she seems to have become most linked with is Master Manipulator Empath of the rival Hellions. The less said about that relationship the better, but I assure you, it's loads of yuck. Magma was eventually written out of New Mutants in its original run and appeared infrequently until the early 2000s, when she was literally crucified. Writers clearly felt bad for her and her mistreatment over the years, and they brought her back with New Mutants' second volume where she reunited with her old classmates. Magma is still hanging around the periphery of X-books, and every time a New Mutants book is released, she seems to resurface within it. However, the question remains, if you're going to do nothing with the character, except for, crucify her, maybe just leave her out of it. 5. Domino / Longshot. This spot is reserved for heroes with probability-based superpowers. It's not that Domino and Longshot are uninteresting characters, in fact both are extremely likable in very different ways. The problem is, while they are fun, their powers are just too useful. With the nebulous power of being lucky, any problem can be solved, and any battle won instantly. With that level of MacGuffin, any dramatic tension a comic book tries to create is instantly sabotaged. In a world where the powers are made up and the conflicts malleable, you'd hope writers could find a more creative way to resolve the plot. 4. Cannonball. Sam Guthrie has been a man of many teams: the New Mutants, X-Men, X-Force, and the Avengers, to name just a few. And while Sam has always been a mutant character above all else, it was actually his tenure in Jonathan Hickman's incredible Avengers run that Sam met his future wife, Izzy Kane, also known as Smasher. Izzy serves as a super guardian of the Shi'ar Empire, meaning Sam is currently out in the galaxy living it up and taking care of their newly born child. What's more is he seems genuinely happy having traded spandex for diapers. X-Men comics have already had their fair share of absentee fathers, cough Professor X, cough Cyclops, so please, writers, let Cannonball have his legacy and his completed story and take care of his canon baby. 3. Jean Grey. For all that Jean Grey has been through, she's been treated remarkably poorly as a character. Between the constant deaths and resurrections, she has become synonymous with being written as an object for Cyclops and Wolverine to fight over, and Jean has gotten the short end of the stick many times. But one storyline in particular has been damaging to her character. Since the Dark Phoenix saga premiered in the 1970s, Jean has been typecast as the vessel of the Phoenix. Yes, there have been stints where writers focus on other aspects of the character, but without fail, whenever Jean is brought to the prominent role in a book, the Phoenix is quick to follow. That's problematic, because the continued re-emergence of the Phoenix not only keeps Jean from evolving as a character, but it also dampens the impact of one of the greatest comic stories of all time. She can never eclipse that destiny, so unless writers can resist yet another Phoenix story, Jean needs to stay on the sidelines. 2. Beast. Many remember Hank McCoy as the verbose, lovable heart of the X-Men in the 90s cartoon. Indeed, it's hard not to fall in love with that characterization, but modern Beast is less of a cuddly science nerd, more deranged mad scientist. This recent radicalization has led Beast to take insane risks and indulge in some rather shady activities. He joined the Illuminati to secretly represent the X-Men without telling his teammates when the fabric of the multiverse was at stake. He again risked space-time itself by bringing the original 5 X-Men to the present day, again consulting none of his team in the process. And now, on Krakoa, Beast leads X-Force with the mentality of, quote, do what's best for all mutant kind, no matter the cost. Far be it from us to say that characters can't change, but with Beast, he seems to have strayed so far from his moral core that writers would be best to take a break on the character. 1. Professor X. The founder of the X-Men, Charles Xavier, takes the top spot here. Anyone who has read the many, many terrible retcons of the X-Men over the years knows the weird and despicable things Xavier has done. Whether it's lusting after students or telepathically deleting the existence of Cyclops' brother from his memory, Xavier's credibility has been shot. Yes, he's found a new function on Krakoa, but that doesn't change his guilt over his past misdeeds. Xavier's dream has always been more important than the character himself, and with the emergence of Krakoa, that dream is constantly changing. Die a hero or live long enough to be a villain and all that nonsense. Xavier's motives may be for the benefit of mutants, but in a book that is an allegory for so many marginalized groups in society today, it sends a rather convoluted message. And there you have it, folks, our admittedly controversial take on the 10 X-Men characters who need to take a step back from the limelight. Feel free to leave a comment down below with your own thoughts on the matter, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.